to get my back blown out in peace. You think I got time to talk about a divorce that's a year old?
The day started like a fairy tale for Teyana Taylor. Balloons filled the backyard, pink and gold ribbons shimmered under the sunlight, and little Junie couldn't stop giggling as she ran around with her friends. Cameras were everywhere, music played low, and for the first time in months, Teyana seemed genuinely happy. It was her daughter's birthday, a day she wanted to be all about love, laughter, and family. But no one, not even Teyana herself, could have imagined how quickly that perfect day would turn into chaos once Iman Shumpert showed up uninvited. Everything had been planned to perfection. Aaron Pierre, the man who'd quietly stepped into Teyana's life after her split from Iman, had helped set up the whole thing. He'd been there early, joking with Junie, tying up decorations and making sure Teyana didn't lift a finger. Friends whispered that maybe, just maybe, Teyana was finally moving on for good, that Aaron's calm presence was healing what Iman had broken. But deep down, everyone could feel that tension in the air. That kind of quiet unease that comes when an old wound hasn't really healed. Because while Teyana tried to keep things peaceful, the truth was, she and Iman hadn't spoken properly in weeks. Not since the tabloids had exploded with rumors about her and Aaron's growing closeness. By midday, the guests had arrived, and laughter filled the yard. Aaron was holding Junie while Teyana cut the cake, her smile wide but nervous. Every camera caught the moment. A beautiful mother, her daughter, and the man the internet was already calling the new dad. But then, in the middle of the crowd, a murmur started. Someone whispered, "Is that Iman?" And heads turned toward the gate. There he was. Iman Shumpert, sunglasses on, hoodie pulled tight, standing stiff at the edge of the driveway. No smile, no warmth, just an expression that said everything, that mix of hurt, pride, and pure disbelief. He hadn't been invited. Everyone knew that. But he came anyway, and when Teyana saw him, her entire face changed. The warmth left her eyes instantly. At first, she tried to keep her composure. She stepped away from the cake, whispered something to Aaron, and started walking toward Iman. The music had lowered, conversations had stopped, and the entire backyard seemed to freeze in place. All you could hear was the soft click of her heels on the pavement as she approached him. "Iman," she said quietly, "what are you doing here?" "I came to see my daughter," he replied, voice tight. "You think I'm gonna miss her birthday because you're mad at me?" Teyana's jaw tightened. She glanced toward Junie, who was watching from across the yard, her small face confused. "You could have called," Teyana said. "We could have arranged something. You can't just show up like this." But Iman wasn't hearing any of it. "Arrange something?" He shot back. "You've been letting that man play daddy to my kid, and you're talking about arrangements?" The crowd shifted uncomfortably. Cameras were rolling. Even Aaron looked unsure whether to step in or back off. He moved closer to Junie instead, trying to distract her from what was happening. But Teyana, she wasn't backing down. Not this time. "Don't do this here," she said through gritted teeth. "Not today. This is her day." But Iman was spiraling. "Her day?" he said, his voice rising. "You think I'm just gonna sit back and watch another man hold my child while you pretend I never existed? You're losing it, Teyana." The words hit her hard. Her hands trembled, but her voice stayed firm. "You did that yourself, Iman. You made choices that broke this family. You don't get to walk back in like nothing happened." For a few long seconds, no one said a word. The silence was heavier than the summer air. Then Iman took off his sunglasses, looked her dead in the eyes and said, "You replaced me. That's what this is about." Teyana blinked back, tears, whispering, "No, I rebuilt myself." "There's a difference." Aaron finally stepped forward, calm but clearly protective. "Iman, maybe this isn't the time." But before he could finish, Iman turned on him sharply. "You stay out of this, man. You don't know what we've been through." Aaron didn't flinch. "You're right, I don't. But I know this isn't how you handle things in front of your kid." That was when it all started to unravel. The birthday music had stopped completely now, and guests were beginning to quietly usher the kids inside. The only people left outside were Teyana, Iman, Aaron, and a handful of adults pretending not to watch. Teyana's voice broke through the tension, trembling with anger. "You came here to start drama, didn't you? You knew today was about her, and you made it about you." Iman's voice cracked just slightly. "I came here because I love my daughter. And I never said you didn't," she shouted. "But love doesn't look like this, Iman. Love doesn't come crashing into a child's birthday party just to make a point." Her eyes were filling up now, but she refused to let them fall. This wasn't the same Teyana who used to cry quietly behind closed doors. This was a woman who'd been through too much, who'd fought to hold herself together for her child. Aaron gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "Let's go inside," he whispered. But she shook her head. She wasn't done. "Iman," she said slowly, "you need to leave." He took a step closer. "So that's it? You really think you can erase me from her life like this?" Teyana's voice steadied, quiet but cutting. "I'm not erasing you, but I'm not letting you ruin what little peace we have left." He stood there for a moment, breathing hard, jaw clenched. For the first time, he looked less angry and more lost, like a man who couldn't recognize the family standing in front of him anymore. And maybe that's what hurt him most. Then, from across the yard, a small voice called out, "Daddy?" Junie had slipped away from Aaron's side, walking slowly toward Iman. Everyone froze. Teyana's heart dropped as she watched her daughter's tiny hand reach for her father's. Iman knelt down, his face softening instantly. "Hey, baby," he whispered. "Happy birthday," she smiled, innocent and unaware of the storm around her. "Mommy said we were going to sing again. You want to come?" Iman looked up at Teyana then. There was a flicker of something. Regret, maybe. But Teyana just shook her head slightly, tears finally escaping. "Not today," she said softly. "Please." For a long second, he didn't move. Then he nodded slowly, stood up, and took a deep breath. "All right," he said quietly. "I'll go." He turned to leave, but before he walked out the gate, he looked back one last time. "I hope he treats her better than I did," he said, glancing at Aaron. "And I hope you remember I loved you once." Teyana didn't answer. She couldn't. She just stood there, arms crossed tightly, as the man she once called her forever disappeared down the driveway. The guests slowly returned outside. The music started again, but the energy had shifted. Everyone felt it. The moment would replay in their minds long after the balloons deflated and the cake was gone. Later that night, when everyone had left, Teyana sat alone in the backyard. The lights were dim now, soft music playing through a speaker. Aaron came outside holding 2 cups of tea. He didn't say anything at first, just sat beside her in silence. "You okay?" he finally asked. She sighed, staring at the spot where Iman had stood earlier. "I thought I was, but seeing him like that, it hurt more than I expected." Aaron nodded. "You don't have to be okay all the time, you know." She looked at him then, her eyes tired but grateful. "I just wanted her to have a good day," she said quietly. "Just one day without drama." Aaron smiled softly. "She did. She got to see both her parents, and she saw you stand up for yourself. That's something." Teyana let out a small laugh, one that almost turned into a sob. "You really think she noticed?" "I think she'll remember how strong her mom was," he said. She leaned back, closing her eyes for a moment. The chaos, the shouting, the tears, it all replayed in her mind. But underneath all that noise, there was something else. A kind of closure she hadn't realized she needed. "Maybe this was the last time," she whispered. "Maybe that was goodbye." Aaron looked at her, understanding. Then let it be. The camera of life would have faded out right there, Teyana and Aaron sitting quietly under the string lights, the faint sound of laughter still echoing from inside. But the internet, as always, wasn't going to let the moment rest. Within hours, clips of the confrontation had gone viral. The headlines were everywhere. Iman crashes daughter's birthday. Teyana Taylor snaps back. Aaron Pierre steps in to protect her. Some fans blamed Iman for causing a scene. Others said Teyana should have let him stay. But what no one could really see behind the headlines was the heartbreak, the years of trying, forgiving, and failing that led up to that one explosive afternoon. By the next morning, Iman posted a short message on his story. "I'll always show up for my kid, no matter who tries to stop me." He turned off comments soon after. Teyana didn't respond publicly. She never does. Instead, she posted a photo of Junie holding her birthday balloon, captioned simply, "All for you." Good. Days later, when the dust finally settled, Teyana appeared on a live session, calm, collected, and honest. "I just want peace," she said. "I'm not against him being a father. I just want boundaries. That's it." It was raw, real, human. And that's why people couldn't stop talking about it, because behind all the glamour and celebrity headlines was just a mother, trying to protect her peace, her child, and herself. By the end of the week, new rumors had already begun swirling. Stories about Iman wanting custody, about Aaron's quiet support, about Teyana's next move. But for once, she didn't seem shaken. She was finally learning that strength doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it's just walking away and meaning it. And so, while the world dissected every second of that birthday confrontation, Teyana was already moving forward, maybe not healed, but finally free enough to try. Because sometimes the most powerful words aren't screamed in anger. They're whispered through tears. "Get out of my life." And this time she meant it.